Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we break down, or actually, we get into all of their records, we listen to all of their records, and then we rank them from worst to best, and we give our biggest banger from each of them if we got one. My name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. And even farther away is a friend of the pod, Skip. He's coming to us all the way from Birmingham, England. So you're 8 hours ahead of us. Because we are in the middle of Britland season, so we had to round it out with an actual Britlander on the podcast, and obviously a big Radiohead fan. Normally, yes.
No.
That's true. So normally we do the 6 Degrees with Tom DeLonge. I didn't do it this week. I don't know if you guys did it.
Of course I did.
If not,
Oh,
you did?
It's really easy, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, well then go ahead. Get to it, boys. What do you got?
Jeffrey?
I took the long way. I went a little bit more obscure. I did Clive Dreamer. That's who I started with.
Ooh.
All right, because I wanted to be crazy.
Okay.
He was actually on Susie and the Banshees solo album Manta Ray, and her bass player on that album was Charlie Jones, who also played on the Colts album from 2022. The Colts singer Ian Astbury sang backup vocals on the Nine Inch Nails album Bad Witch. So here we are at Nine Inch Nails to Alon to Tom.
Elon to Tom. Nice.
That one did take me a minute though, because like everything I was trying to do, it always ended up just being like UK artists. I was like, "Fuck, man, how can I cross the pond?"
Right place.
Yeah, or something like that.
I mean, easy one is obviously Tom to Atoms for Peace, which is Mr. Fleas to the Volters to the Anti-Masks to the Travis Barkers to the Boxcar Racers, just for lols, Boxcar Racers to the Tom DeLonges. There you go.
That's a good one too.
In and out.
That's a good one too.
Too easy.
Good.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this. Let's get into the album rankings. Like I said, we're doing Radiohead. They have 9 records. We're only doing 9 records. We're not doing any of the EPs or the comps or whatever other crap that they have. So 9 records. The order is I'm going to start, Skip's going to be next, and then Jeff is going to round it out with the top 9. So for me, I think the worst record is The Bends. The second record from, what was that, 95, I believe? Yeah, 95. Yeah, this is just like kind of a carbon copy of Pablo Honey. But it's like more boring. They throw in some of the atmospheric stuff and more synth stuff that you hear on OK Computer, but it's just nothing really sticks, and it's just fucking boring. It's just a boring record. I don't care for this one at all. The Bends, I have no banger, nothing. It's not worth anybody's time. So
Okay.
All right. So Skip, what do you got for number 9?
Ooh. That's an opinion, dude. Number 9, it's this is the worst, and I can say this because I'm a Britlander, so my word is law. It's their debut. It's Pablo Honey.
Whoa, dude.
I mean, it's the worst Radiohead album, or is it the best Bush album? I don't know. It's labelled straight into that shitty post-grunge thing that happened in the early to mid-90s, where everyone wanted the next Nirvana. There's some really embarrassing lyrics on this one, guys.
Wow.
There's a sound there, but there isn't really a lot of songs. BB, biggest banger, would be the opener, You. Some nice big guitars, it's kind of rocking. I really instrumentally like Anyone Can Play Guitar, but man, that chorus is so embarrassing lyrically. Standing on the beach, anyone could play guitar in heaven. No, Tom, that's the worst thing you've ever done. The good thing is this is back in the times where bands were allowed to have some shitty records before they made good ones, when they were still in the music industry. So thank God, otherwise you wouldn't have I know at least 7 other albums on this list, but yeah, number 9, Pablo Honey.
Okay.
All right.
Damn. Starting off strong. Here we go. Here we go.
What do you got for number 9, Jeff?
I actually went back and looked at my old rankings too, and the first time we did this around, we did Kid A, I put The King of Limbs as my least favorite. So I'm going to mention what I did earlier and then go on from there too, because I do what I want during my turn. But my
I'll do that too. Yeah.
What did you rank last time?
I have to bring up my list.
Gotcha.
So
you. Go ahead.
Idiot.
I this was wild, dude. I did this whole thing twice, and they changed quite a bit from last time. And sometimes I don't even know why I ranked these the way I did, but I did, and I don't fucking care. Moon-Shaped Pool. This is my least favorite this time around. I get it, man. Johnny loves his classical arrangements. And I do too. My favorite Miles Davis is Sketches of Spain. I like it. I like classical stuff in my music. But for whatever reason this time around, I just didn't care. I just didn't care. And I want to say it was because I was like burnt out by Radiohead or anything like that, because it's like the last album. So then when I did it again, I went backwards, right? I went front to back and then back to front with like 3 or 4 days in between of just nothing or everything but Radiohead. So like I went into this completely fresh, and I still but Radiohead. I went in this fresh. I like how dark this is and just sad, and this record, like, you know, the lives of the Radiohead camp outside and surrounding its release and recording is tragic and dark and gloomy. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's a great classical record with some really intense emotions. But again, this time around, it just didn't click with me, and I didn't care for it. So
That's fair. That's fair. So I went back and looked, and the Benz, it was my least favorite as well. The last time we did a Radiohead on the podcast, which was 3 years ago. So back in 2020, or 4 years ago, I should say. So yeah. So that's your number 9 is Moon-Shaped Pool.
yeah.
My number 8 is Pablo Honey from '93, first record. I think this is just run of the mill, like indie rock. Nothing really exciting. I mean, a lot of indie rock is pretty. It's kind of boring, and that's how I feel about this record. Nobody really shines on this one. I mean, Tom's doing his thing, but it's not as over the top as you hear later on in Radiohead. Just nobody. I don't think anybody is particularly great at their instruments. They're all good, and they as a group normally they sound good, but this one, it's just everything falls flat. If I had a banger, it'd be the first song that you just like. I agree with you on that, Skip. I think that's like the only standout song. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a really overrated record. And then I read too that the song "Creep." I've never ever liked that song, but that was apparently it was blacklisted from BBC Radio 1 because it was too depressing in 1993. That's so stupid.
You really don't like Creep? Come on.
No, I've never liked
Like,
that. I thought it was such a cheesy
I get
song.
it. Cheesy, yes, but like it's still a good song. It's a catchy
No.
fucking song. It's cool.
It's a Pixies ripoff, man, and that's
Yeah.
the fact that they're a band that formed at a Pixies concert. There's some trivia for you Radiohead fans out there. On a Friday, formed after seeing the Pixies, which is why when was it Coachella? I think they were put above the Pixies, and Tom York came out and was like, "This is completely wrong," because everyone knows you can't follow the Pixies because they're the Pixies.
I mean, Radiohead definitely can't follow the Pixies, that's for sure. But, you know, I guess we'll move on. What do you got for number 8, Skip?
Number 8 for Skip. It's the Bends.
Bends, okay.
My baby's got the Bends. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said, really. It's just run-of-the-mill indie. It's definitely an improvement on Pablo Honey, despite your rankings. My rankings, by the way, didn't change. Here's an interesting one. I wrote down what I thought they would be, but I'm very familiar with Radiohead. I listen to them at least once a week, so I didn't.
Jesus.
Yeah. I'm a big Radiohead boy.
You're British, though,
funny.
so it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into my origin story in the main episode because it wasn't always that way. I was, lost in the wilderness for a while. But yeah, first 2 tracks, so boring. But then he's at High and Dry kicks in. Oh, records starting. Highlights, probably My Iron Lung. That's when they first worked with Nigel Godrich on what became the My Iron Lung EP. Obviously became the 5th Beatle to that band. Again, we'll probably dive more into that later on.
6th Beatle, right?
And yeah, but the 5th Beatle is the phrase. Come on, Tyler. Come on.
I know, but that's...
Yeah.
I get what you're doing, but... Okay.
I can't count. Yeah,
I mean, clearly you
yeah,
can't, but that's
yeah.
fine.
Well, I mean, everyone knows that Ed's the secret weapon in Radiohead anyway.
I mean,
But
is there
yeah,
really a secret weapon though in this band?
everyone, yeah, because everyone goes on
Okay.
about Johnny playing guitar and Tom's vocals, and Ed does all the textures and all the backing vocals. But hey ho.
I mean, it's something.
Anyway,
It's something.
yeah, and Just is a great track. It's got, for a man who doesn't play guitar solos, there's a lot of guitar solos on that track, and they joked about trying to get as many chords as possible in there. So yeah, that's
what
about
I
it.
love.
It's the Bends. It's number 8.
What were you gonna say, Jeff?
No, that's okay. My number 8's the Bends as well.
Okay.
And it's just, but like this is arguably their most influential in guitar-driven rock. Bands of this era tuning up like the volume and wearing their angst on their sleeves with little to no nuance, except like showing their angst through just sheer high volume. Radiohead layers and they texture their angst through guitar-driven like ambiance. Coldplay and Muse have careers because of this album, but like
Yeah.
Yes.
everything here I think
That's
is
not a
better
good
than
thing.
Pablo. Like Tom's voice is finding itself nicely. Everyone is working together to mesh their instruments to create soundscapes better. I don't think this is better than Pablo. For me, though, I do also agree this is kind of boring. I think this is an album that's remembered for some absolute bangers individually rather than like a record as a whole. So it's kind of just pushed to the side. This is like the earlier version of Amnesiac. So that's number 8.
Some killer, some filler.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, my number 7 is Moon Shaped Pool, their latest record, the 9th record. I don't think this is a bad album. I think it's just really indulgent. There's a lot of filler on here. I understand all the emotions and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, if I ever would put this record on again, it would just be on in the background. I don't think any particular track stands out. It's just normally this is what they do. Like when you hear this record, you're like, okay, this is Radiohead. They haven't really changed much. Yeah, they added more like orchestral stuff on this record, but I mean, they've always had like string arrangements and all kinds of shit on earlier records.
All kinds of shit. What are you calling the string arrangement shit?
It's just a London Philharmonic. No worries.
Well, one
no
thing.
worries.
Okay, so one thing I do want to give a shout out to the band about. I forgot who it is. It might be Ed or maybe Johnny. I don't know. But one of them actually writes all of the string arrangements, and then they in turn give it to an actual orchestra to play.
Johnny.
And I thought that was so cool. I thought that's super rad that the guys actually arrange the actual parts
soundtracks
He's
to
won,
movies.
he's won Oscars for him, hasn't he? Yeah. Has he won an
Yeah.
Oscar? He's won awards.
There Will Be Blood. He did that sound. I think he won something
he really?
for that movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good movie. That's a fucking good movie too.
That's the first one he did a score for with Paul Thomas Anderson. He's done pretty much every movie he's done since, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Johnny's many strings to his bow.
Oh, he does. I did see that when that concert that you made me watch. I did. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought it was really cool. But yeah, my number 7 is Moonshaped Pool. I just think it's a forgettable record. It's not bad. It's just forgettable. So that's why it's listed as my number 7. And from looking back on my old rankings, I also ranked this at number 7. So I'm still matching how I felt 3-4 years ago. So what do you got, Skip, for
Cool.
number 7?
Number 7.
Number 7.
Consistency. It is number 7. That's how. Oh, now we can't do numbers. Rebecca.
Okay. So forgive me, but normally Jeff goes first, and then I go last, and then we move on to the next number. But
I
now I'm
also
so
am getting
out of
a little bit thrown off. Kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird.
I'm so
Pod counting is hard, boys. Counting is hard.
When we've been doing this for 6 years, it's just to change it up. It's,
6 comes after 7, right, Tyler? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
numbers.
Ironically, because we're talking about forgetting things, and my number 7 is Amnesiac. See what I did there? Successful professional segue.
No, that was
boys.
great. That was an amazing joke that you did over there. I'm laughing on the inside.
I can tell. Yeah. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, tough crowd.
British comedy, funny, right?
Canned laughter. Insert here. Okay, so we can edit this out in post. It's fine, boys. Just go straight to the laughter bit. We'll have my joke and then us laughing. Amnesiac, number 7. These are all good, by the way. I'm not going to give our world famous. That's what I said. Our world famous ranking numbers in this. 'Cause spoilers for the album of the week. Yeah, I'm just taking ownership. Fuck it.
That's good. Do it.
I like the
But these are
confidence.
these are all good. I actually have all of these on vinyl. In
Oh
fact,
my
I believe
God.
From here on in, so there we go. On this one on 10-inch, original 10-inch. It's not an original pressing. It's a repress, but it's on the 10-inch like it should be.
Those are cool.
So yeah, Amnesiac, unfairly maligned as the B-sides to Kid A. I don't think that's true. I think the experimental stuff is more experimental, and the songs are more songy, and I think that's the difference. That's how they picked them out because they were all recorded at the same time. There's some really great stuff. I could talk about Pyramid Song, but it's too obvious a choice. Obviously, everyone argues about time signatures, and Radiohead have actually turned around and gone, if you listen, it is actually in 4/4. It's just the drums kind of swing in a weird way, which is pretty great. They've just gone, no, we're not tall. This is just how it is. And it's kind of written to Tom's voice more than anything else. I think this is also where Tom really started coming into his own. You're getting a lot more piano and stuff that wasn't in the earlier records, and that's sort of Tom's how he writes. He stopped writing on acoustic guitar. But the track to kind of single out and pick to me is Life in a Glass House, man. Because it's so unique in their canon, you know. It's got that New Orleans feel, there's clarinet, there's horns. It's jazzy, man. It sounds like a funeral procession down the street. Some classic Turner phrase, Tom York vocals, which is kind of his lyrical thing, which we'll dig into on the main episode. So I don't think this is a bad record. I think it's a very good record, but it's one I'd go back to the least in the current list. So number 7 it sits at.
All right, that sounds good. My Jeff, what do you got for number 7?
Easy there, Tiger.
I know. See,
Whoa.
It's hard
I know
for
it's
me.
weird. It's weird.
What do you got for number
Jeffrey, this was your idea.
That is
It
true.
was your idea, Jeff. Yeah. We could always switch it up. You want to go first, Jeff? After this?
So I go 2 in a row.
Yeah, you do 2 in a row,
Yeah,
and then Skip will
Tyler
still be in the
can't
middle.
cope.
That's
Then
crazy.
Skip will still be in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's do 2 in
Let's
a
do
row.
it.
I'll do 2 in a row. I don't care. I'll do it all.
Okay. What do
So
you got
like
for
my
7?
my old rankings were King of Limbs, Pablo Honey, and the Bends, right? And then now it's Moonshade Pool, the Bends, and then Amnesiac. Amnesiac's my 7. I mean, you don't follow Kid A, right? 8 months later with a record and expect it to be historic. Like Kid A was, and as a companion piece, like it's fine. It cut from the same sessions, and this is a nice bonus like Kid A record. It's not quite the same, but it's also not entirely different than that. There's some absolute bangers on here, but I feel like because Radiohead is so great, they progress their sound, whether it be good or bad. They do things a little bit different, kind of every album after each other. This one I personally just wanted some more like guitar-driven rock from them. I wanted something harkening back to like Pablo and just that kind of sound. And I didn't get it here, so this week I just didn't care for it as much. Dude, Life in a Glass House, though, absolute certified banger. Like you said, this, like for me, this has that kind of like vaudeville swing feel to it that belongs in like a late 40s club. And it's amazing. It's so cool. Hunting Bears, absolute banger. That's a guitar-driven instrumental, but doesn't stick around long enough to be kind of S tier. It's just, like, come on, guys, be a little bit better. But Dollars and Cents, that is my biggest banger from this week. But outside these 3 songs, like I had this on the vinyls, and I'm going to purge it because I'm not going to go back to this. I'm not going to choose this over Kid A or In Rainbows on my limited vinyl spinning days. Just not going to happen. Dollars and Cents, though, dude, I love this song. It's got Kid A feel, which is an incredible groove throughout. It's a perfect song for this record. And I think that's what this record should have sounded like overall, not just 1 or 2 songs. That's why it sits there. Done.
Okay, fair. All right, then, Jeff. Let's get into your number 6 since you're doubling up.
I feel like I'm
what do you
just
got?
talking
What do
a
you got for
lot
number
here.
6?
That's fine,
You
though.
are
I like
talking
it.
a lot. Yeah.
I used to have OK Computer here. I don't now. I have... Dude, this is where things
Oh,
get
no.
wild. This is where things get wild, okay?
Buckle up, boys.
Yeah. All this
Jesus.
talking in my throat. Do you hear it? Yeah.
I know. I heard you hack away.
This is where things
Performative
get
cough.
this is where things get wild. I have Hail to the Thief here. There's a lot to love about this album. There's a lot to love. It's kind of a middle ground of the various Radiohead fans and what they want from the band and what they are getting. And there's some absolute bangers here. 2 + 2 = 5. Fucking certified banger.
Oh, so good.
Dude,
So
Tom is
good.
like full blown angsty, railing against the system and just overly political. It's cute.
Do you remember
It's
when
cute.
George Bush Jr. was a big bad guy? Do you
Yeah.
remember when that was the thing that you guys had to worry about as president?
Yeah, but then like, he
Good
was
days,
this.
good
there was-
days.
This album was full of what Bush and then Blair, like the BBs. That's what he was just pissed off
Yeah,
about
yeah.
entirely. But even like, but the album's just too long. It's just too long. It's too bloated. And even Tom had come out and like
100%.
omitted some tracks to create a better, more cohesive, less long-winded album. And when your lead singer, like the main face of the band, is saying like, yeah, we probably could have cut out like 4 of these songs, then like, come on, dude, it doesn't deserve to be above. It definitely doesn't deserve to be in the top 4. No way.
No.
So, but like, it's a good album though. It is a good album.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
it's
where it
good. It's a good one. All right, Skip, what do you got for number 6?
Number 6, Jeffrey, my man, we are on a very, very similar wavelength. Interesting. It is Hail to the Mother Flipping Thief Boys, and for very, very similar reasons. You are correct. It's too long. The version I have on my Spotify, I did a Tom York. It's slightly different to Tom's, but it's about 40 minutes, and that is a 40-minute 3 out of 3 record. There is the 3 out of 3 record in there, but there's too much filler. It's their angriest album. For sure. He's all riled up. He's got ants in his pants. He's got bees in his bonnet, and he wants you to know it. In some ways, it's a precursor to the album of the week, I would say, in terms of you had the Kid A Amnesia double whammy, couple of years, and they've gone back, and it's much more guitar orientated. But they're trying, and this is where it falls down, they're trying to merge that electronic, Warp Records influenced sound, the Tom's kind of material, with the more straightforward band stuff, and it doesn't quite gel. When it does, it's great. Like Sit Down, Stand Up, I love how that just breaks down to like a drum and bass break at the end. That's great. Song of the week for me though, and this song is just leapt out of me because there's so many great ones, as Jeff said. 2+2, There is top 10 Radiohead for me, but Go to Sleep, and the reason is it's like Stuff Off the Bends or Pablo Honey, but way better. It does that classic Radiohead thing where it starts with sections. It starts with that nice kind of acoustic riff, great lyric from Tom, nice hook at the start, and then the drums kind of change. And I think Salway's really underrated as a drummer because the way he grooves, he's quite subtle, but he kind of propels what a lot of Radiohead songs would be really boring if it wasn't for Philip kind of funking up the percussion. And then there's that, I call it the Greenwood Telecaster effect, where it's usually about a third to 2/3 away through a song, he'll just do a big, jagged Telecaster riff. And it happens in here, happens in Paranoid Android, for instance, and it's the Radiohead thing, and it just kicks the song up into a gear, and it's like a perfect pre-millennial Radiohead song, but written...
like
Go ahead.
hearing...
Yeah.
Kicking, like Radiohead kicking it up to a
Well,
different gear is just like, it's not really anything. Like they don't I don't know. I
disagree,
can't,
Tyler. We
I
haven't
can't-
got
I
to
don't
that
even-
episode yet.
I can't even string
They're
together
not a rock
sentence.
band.
I know
They're
they're
not
not
a
a
rock
band.
band.
I know, but it's just like kicking it up a gear. Like for Radiohead, that's not saying
they do
much.
though,
You
but
know what
like
I mean?
everybody's so
Like,
used to like
that-
radio
that-
kicking it up from
that
Creed,
guitar
right? That
tone,
drop.
yeah, that guitar tone is nasty. That Telecaster tone that Johnny does is and he does it in quite a lot of songs, and it's just it's a perfect song, man. Go to Sleep is a perfect song. It's a perfect Radiohead song, and if you disagree, you don't like this band, and that's fine. That's okay. Some people are allowed to be wrong, but it's not a perfect record. It's at number 6. But it's the angriest, and I do think it's a precursor to In Rainbows. Without Hail to the Thief, we wouldn't have In Rainbows, but it's way too long. There's a lot of filler, but it's good. And its biggest problem is it wasn't a revolutionary album. They had OK Computer, changed music at the time. Kid A, ditto. People said, do another guitar album, guys, and they did. And then people went, oh no, not like that.
Isn't that how most like really famous bands are?
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah,
Smashing
it was a
Pumpkins. It's like people want, all people want is Siamese Dream, and then
Yeah.
they tried to do something like Siamese Dream, like nah, not like that. Do it a different way.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Although we got Tarantula out of that, which is a good song. But yeah, number 6, Hail to the Thief.
All right, number 6 for me.
Yeah.
Amnesiac, whatever you want to say. fifth album from '01, the B-sides of Kid A. That's not a knock to this record. I just
Wrong.
think that's fine. I just this is another record to just kind of throw on in the background. Some great electronic elements, some great fucking, just a great production overall. It is really really great. But I just felt myself getting just zoning out, honestly, and kind of not remembering where one song ends and one song starts. I don't know. This one I ranked a little bit higher last time, but the last time I ranked the records, my number 6 was The King of Limbs. But yeah, Amnesiac, I don't know, man. It's fine. At this point, okay, so we have our world famous 3-point rating system on this podcast. A 3 is a perfect album. A 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to. 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot. And 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So at this point, we're not even at the 2s yet.
What are you talking about?
I would never go back to Amnesiac. I would give Amnesiac a 1.75. I would give it a 1.75.
I'm going to hang up. I'm about to hang up. So me and
I
Jeff,
know
we're going to
some
go
of the
finish the
shit
pod.
music you fucking listen to. You
Jeff,
tell me
true,
some of
though.
those garbage fucking corn
Jeff.
records you throw on over the. You're fucking insane.
Yeah.
I enjoy
We'll
some of those garbage
finish-
corn records more. Yes, I do. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, good lord.
We'll finish this episode without Tyler. It's probably for the best. So,
But like I said, Amnesiac is not a bad record. It really, really isn't. I'm also not a huge Radiohead fan. I think they have some amazing stuff, but overall, I don't really care that much. So yeah, number 6 is Amnesiac. What do you got for number 5, Jeff? Go.
I'm just gonna go back and then just real quick rank all the stuff that I did. Moonshaped Pool is the only one right now I would probably rank below a 2. It just didn't click with me this week, and I just didn't like it. Don't care.
That's a 1, man. Come on.
No, it's like a 1.9. But the Benz and Amnesiac, I'd give a 2. Hail to the Thief, I'd give it 2, because I do go back to these probably like once a year, just to be like, I wonder if like I like it a little bit more. I usually
want to
don't
pretend to like this band. Yeah.
But there's fucking like bangers on these. Every single one of these albums have at least 2 or 3 bangers on them. Some have like 5 or 6, but they also have filler. So, whatever. But my number 5, there's two that really surprised me this week, and my number 5 is one of them. It's Pablo Honey. No wait,
That's really high.
yeah, no, yeah, we're number 5.
that's
right?
really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff,
Damn,
have
so
you
do
been
the whole
smoking the
thing.
silly stuff again? Because that is higher than Snoop Dogg on a Saturday evening, man. Like,
That's fucking British comedy, dude.
he's laughing. Whoop. Got him.
Oh,
he did get us.
God.
Yeah, he did get us.
That's so fucking funny. It's so stupid. Yeah, Pablo Honey, their first record. Dude, this one really, really clicked with me this week. Dude, this is wild. This came out in 93, right? The direction of music in 93 is so not this. Nirvana is sitting pretty. Hip-hop is gaining a ton of traction with gangster rap. Fucking Whitney Houston drops arguably one of the biggest bangers and hits of the 90s with I Always Will Love You. And then, like, these guys are figuring out their sound and falling over each other and clunking around. 3 guitars here, all doing essentially the same thing. And we get this nice wall of like attacking sound, but with just a little bit of nuance. But like, dude, what is Radiohead in 93? I don't fucking know. Stop Whispering is a song that really, really did it for me this week. Dude, this is a fucking certified banger. This is one of my new favorite Radiohead songs. It's aggressive enough to fit well in this album, but it isn't over the top like Creep is. And they also do like their iconic droning sound throughout the song, and it's just like, this is Radiohead in their infancy here. It's so cool that it was already there. But because like Creep was such a big hit, we didn't like see Stop Whispering coming through. And like, this is a good album. It's a good, solid album. You take it out of context from 93 and what else came out in that era, it's still a good album. You put it in like the chronologically of Radiohead albums, it's not really bloated. Everything that people want from Radiohead, do more guitar. They already fucking did it. Here it is. It's Pablo Honey. It's just not quite like Radiohead sounds, but it's still a great record.
Honey.
I mean, sorry, they did it. Yeah. I don't know. Dude, that bass line, come on, and Stop Whispering. That bass line's fucking dope, dude. It's a pretty fucking good record.
Jeff, it's okay. You
So-
know how I said we were going to finish the podcast? I think I'll just go finish the podcast by myself. I think that might be what's best for this.
It's so easy.
Skip's gonna
It's so
gonna
easy
record the
to
whole
hate
podcast by
Pablo
himself
Honey.
and send it to me.
It's
Yeah.
the easiest thing you
Yeah.
could possibly do as a Radiohead fan is to hate Pablo Honey. I get it. Like that's like the for people that don't like Radiohead, the easiest thing to do is just make fun of Radiohead. I get it. And the easiest thing for Radiohead fans to do is not like Pablo Honey. You got to get over it. It's a good record.
It's no.
It's a solid number
It's
5.
fine.
It should not
It's
be
fine.
fucking bottom tier. This is not bottom tier Radiohead.
So Jeff, at this point, because we know Skip already has the vinyl. He has almost all their records on vinyl. Because
He does.
Yeah, that's fun. So at this point, would you get this on vinyl?
No.
No. Okay. So we're not there yet.
No.
We're still not even at it. So
Oh, and we're Reddit too. It's just for me to get something on vinyl now, it's got to be lean and mean, right? You'll get there one day, but my collection has to be only like perfect records. And I had Amnesiac on vinyl, and I purged it. I got rid of it. I don't have it anymore because it's not a perfect record.
That's true. Yeah, it's not a perfect record. Not even close.
That's the first thing you've said in this diatribe that's correct, Jeffrey. It's not a perfect record.
All right, Skip. What do you got for number 5?
Number 5. Just to quickly go back to what Jeffrey was saying about easing to Michael out of Radiohead, to take the piss, as it were. Quite funny. Recently, I was out for a beer with Lindsay. That's my partner, girlfriend of the pod, guest Lindsay, and her mate and her mate's 15-year-old son. And I was wearing a Radiohead t-shirt, and he was like, "Oh, what's a Radiohead?" And I was like, so and he didn't think they were a real band. He thought they were made up for South Park.
Really?
Yeah.
I forgot Radiohead were even on that show.
Yeah, that's when they
What's a
tried to trick
Radiohead?
that bully, right? Like Cartman tried to trick the bully into thinking Radio's in town.
Wait, is that the same episode where he tricks the bully into eating his parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, look how fun Radiohead is. Fucking Tyler acting like Radiohead's not fun. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, South Park is fun, but yeah, definitely
South Park is fun.
Love it. One of the greatest shows ever made. Top 5.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Primus did the theme song. Whoop.
Yep.
Everything comes back to Les. So number 6 degrees of Les Claypool. Number 5.
Talk about a band that's way better than this band. But okay, continue.
Calm down.
Yeah, that's a different guest spot.
Relax yourself.
I'm really pleased that what certain record is higher than it is on your previous rating, so Jeffrey. I really am. But Pablo Honey is not the one. Number 5 is A Moon-Shaped Pool.
A little too high.
Possibly their last album. There's a lot of talk that they're done.
I hope so. God, I hope so.
Everyone's brought out a solo record except Colin, who's off playing with Nick Cave currently. Ed's working on his second. The Smile are bringing out their second album. But Salway says they are getting together this year, but whether anything will come of it, I don't know. Could it be? Here's reasons why. Basically, Jeff said, was it Jeff or Tyler? One of you said that it feels like, this is all Radiohead that's been done before. Yes, most of these songs are old Radiohead songs.
That's true
They've
too.
always been a band who've kept playing, always sound checking new stuff, like Nude from Album of the Week. That's been around since the 90s. That was played live from like the Benz tour. Everything's in alphabetical order, which is really, really interesting way of putting the songs. And the fact that we finally get a studio version of True Love Waits, which has been kind of their albatross or Tom's albatross. So there's a lot of signs that this is it. It's a pretty great album to bow out on. It's very stately, in my opinion. It couldn't have been done as like guys in their 20s or even guys in their 30s. I think this is an album of guys in their late 40s, early 50s. It's kind of chill. The songs kind of just happen. They unfold as opposed to propel, which some people can find boring. I get that. But to me, there's so much texture. There's loads of really nice acoustic guitars going on. There's loads of strings. There's loads of really nice like textural pedal play from Ed. It's a very contained thing, a bit like how Kid A is. It's kind of a whole, but there are a couple of tracks that don't really do it for me. Glass Eyes doesn't really do anything for me. So it's not a perfect record by any chance, but it's one I listen to a lot. It's the one that came out when I was a super fan. Before then, I was more of a casual Radiohead guy. So it's when I saw them live as well. So there is some nostalgia. There is some subjectivity attached to it. But fuck it, rankings are subjective. Album talk is objective, right?
Mine's
okay,
not.
Tyler.
Mine's objective. I don't know what
okay,
you're
Tyler,
talking
computer. I mean, you've literally argued the opposite of that in previous episodes, Jeffrey, so don't worry about it. Identikit.
This guy fucking over here fact checking us.
I know. Fucking Snopes.
Skipopedia, bro. Skipopedia. Purely because this is the most old school Radiohead song. It's got the little shred at the end. I really love that Broken Hearts, Make It Rain with Rain, and the way that kind of synth comes in a kind of ugly way halfway through the song. And it has the title of the record in a kind of buried lyric right at the start, which is kind of fun. But yeah, it's a really interesting album. If it is the last one, it bows out on a high, in my opinion, not the peakest, but a reasonable purple patch. It's an album that can only be made by Radiohead now-ish, as opposed to then.
All right.
And that's it. Moonshaped Pool, number 5.
All right. My number 5. I don't care if I get hate for this. I just don't care. But it's OK Computer, third record from '97. I think this is not my thing. I think I'm definitely more of a post 2000 Radiohead fan. I think what they did really in the 2000s was the best stuff. OK Computer's fine. I have gone back to it occasionally because I really do like Paranoid Android, and I understand why so many bands cover this song because it is a fucking great song. It definitely has more depth and nuance compared to the first two records, but then they really kind of threw a shit ton of electronic elements into this one, more avant-garde, experimental, atmospheric elements as well. And it works. It does work really, really well on this record, but this is for sure their transition record, because after this, I mean, it's just they're not even the same band. I honestly can say like they're not the same band after this record. They just after this, obviously they dive fully into the electronic stuff. And really, I mean, that's why this is as low as it is. And I get why people loved it so much at the time, especially, I mean, when you think about it, you know, this is post grunge. This is like the height of nu metal. I mean, or nu metal was just coming up, getting really popular with Korn and Limp Bizkit, all that kind of shit. So, you know, people had to get a little pretentious and like something outside of nu metal, and that's where this record comes in. But yeah, in the end, it's a good record.
It's a very British record. It's
extremely British record. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. At this point, I'm like maybe a 2 out of 3 on this one. You know, if I were to rate it, I'd never get on. I wouldn't get it on vinyl. I mean, it's just if I'm going to listen to Radiohead, I'm probably going to listen to 1 or 2 records at a time. I'm never going to listen to more than that. I'm not going to go through a marathon and listen to 8 fucking Radiohead records. Now, if it's Korn, then yeah, I'm going to go through 8 Korn records. But not Radiohead. It's just not gonna happen.
What if in the middle of Paranoid Android, right? Tom just started going.
Well, see, that just wouldn't be fun because he's not JD.
Would that elevate it to a 2.2?
No, he's not. He's not JD. He's not JD. Like, he can't do it. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have Jonathan Davis's power. You know, he's a one-trick pony. You know.
Oh yeah.
You think Tom is a one-trick pony, but Jonathan Davis is not a fucking one-trick pony?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because Jonathan Davis has several successful solo records and other bands.
God, dude.
Oh god.
That was a joke.
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Well, man, you guys are just so on edge right now.
All right,
you can't even take a fucking.
I'm gonna go into my rankings here because I'm just tired of hearing you just like literally.
So also, real quick,
fucking garbage and
my 5. Real quick, my 5 from a few years ago. It was "Hail to the Thief." So now you can get into your number 4. Jeff. Go.
Okay. So for one, to say that people like in general are pretentious for not wanting to listen to nu metal in '97, come on. Like, what do you? Like, my 4 is OK Computer. I ranked this super low last time, and I really do. I do love this album. This I love this album a lot. But to say that people are pretentious for not wanting to listen to nu metal in the fucking 90s, like what does it even mean? There's more bad nu metal than there was good nu metal. And I like nu metal a lot, but there was exponentially more bad nu metal than there was good nu metal. People are not pretentious for wanting to listen to Radiohead in the height of nu metal. People just don't want to listen to a bunch of bullshit. Just because the fucking Deftones came out with cool records in the beginning, they're still not good albums. And I'm going to purge Adrenaline because it's not even great.
Idiot.
It is not great. Dumb. Nothing the Deftones have ever done is great. Acceptable at best. Acceptable at best. Opening act. But
you're saying that OK Computer is better than the first Korn record. That's what you're saying right now.
I'm not saying that. No.
I am. Yeah, I am.
You guys are both. I mean, Jeff's right on that, but yeah, you're wrong, Skip. That's just silly boy talk. Jesus Christ.
But anyway, it's better. But it's better than every other Korn record. Yes.
I'll invoke British law.
So OK Computer is my number 4. I like when people come out and compare this record to the sort of concept albums that the Prog Giants did or Floyd had done because this is even like it's even really it's not supposed to be that. But because this record has every member like contributing to this smorgasbord of sounds and textures that lead to the single cohesive idea, like that's where it's at. A total shift in rock music come like the electronic era. Guitars are being blended and made to be electronic, processed, just noise. Songs are too long for singles here. They're too weird for the masses, and they're just too busy for normies and muggles to latch onto.
But it becomes one of the biggest selling albums of the year.
Yeah, the more you listen, the more you dig up and realize that there's fucking way more going on here than you thought. So yeah, maybe the pretentious people are tired of listening to fucking garbage and want to actually listen to music and find something out of it and extract emotion and feeling. I love Airbag as an opener because it's this great thesis statement for the record. I don't go back to this album often enough, and I'm going to more now, and because I don't know why. But like, dude, fucking Paranoid Android, man, it's still a banger. It's a historic banger. The journey's unreal. Like, fuck off and tell me we talked about Muse last week, and I know Skip hasn't heard the episode yet, but I'm gonna go back into it. Like, fuck off. Tell me the transition from the intro to the middle part isn't like it's absolute gold. That part is its own song in Paranoid Android. And again, that's the difference between a good songwriter like Muse, maybe, and great songwriters, historic songwriters like Tom, like
songwriter like Muse
John.
Bellamy, Tommy Radiohead.
Dude, like one of the biggest like arguments we had was just like good songwriting versus like great songwriting, and Muse they have a lot of trouble with transitions. They can't do transitions very well. It's just like one thought, next thought. How do we get there? I don't know. Just fucking do it. And like nothing blends. Nothing is like a river, right? Like smooth. Everything's just choppy and gross. Like this.
Yeah, they can't write a bridge. They can't. They can. They're a good riff band, and they have some cool albums. But fuck, man. You say they're a good riff band. Name a better Muse riff than the Paranoid Android riff, though.
Well,
nothing's better than Muse, isn't it?
Dude, stop.
Name a better Muse riff than the Paranoid Android riff.
It's a great riff. Yeah.
Come on.
It's a great fucking riff.
And that last, it just kind of goes up a little bit, and like lets you hang on your edge.
And then the little Johnny shreds, and oh, so good.
And then that solo, real fast. Like, come on, guys.
That solo, don't you think it kind of is a piss take of a shred solo? Because if you listen, it's really janky, but he can clearly shred it.
Yeah,
he's playing it deliberately janky as a kind of like, I could do the Van Halen thing, but this is way more, that wouldn't suit the song. The song is about paranoia, weirdly, and angst and outside. So if I played it super smooth, it wouldn't sound right. And it's deliberately janky. That's great songwriting, dude. Whoop.
Yeah, that is. I totally agree with you on that. I think Paranoid Android is one of the best songs they've ever done, hands down. I think it's a fantastic song. Well,
OK Computer is great.
It's fine. All right. So what do you got for number 4, Skip?
Oh, I'm so pleased, by the way, Jeff, because weirdly you've placed it higher than I have this one, and you put it, spoiler alert for the next 10 seconds, you put it last originally, and I think it's just such an underrated album, and that's The King of Limbs. I love this record. It's succinct, it's short, it's so underrated. It does the Talking Heads Brian Eno thing where it's all sampled of live instruments. They've gone in and played, cut the bits up, put them back together again. But it's also really natural sounding. So it's just wonderful. We were talking about earlier blending of the electronic tom stuff and the organic band stuff. They do it this way by treating it like an electronic record, but including so many natural noises. There's bird song, there's studio noise. It's really, really, it's an interesting thesis statement. It's a very interesting record. The instrumentals are cool and kind of early remind of the Kid A stuff and the Amnesiac stuff, but then there's some really lovely songs. Like, lovely is the right word. Organic, natural. I mean, it's about a tree, supposedly, the album cover and stuff. It's so underrated, it still gets talked shit on. This is the popular album to shit on, not Pablo Honey. Pablo Honey doesn't get talked about. King of Limbs gets shit on by Radiohead fans.
It's the easiest album to shit on. Pablo Honey's the easiest album to shit on.
Fair, yeah, because it's shit. But
I mean, Skip's right. He's
happy. He's happy with himself on that one, doesn't he?
He's having a little chuckle. Want a beer? I'm having a chuckle. I've been to a kid's birthday party. So it's so underrated. It's what, 35 minutes. The combo of codecs to Give Up the Ghost, if you can get through that 8 minutes of music and you don't feel something, stop, you're dead inside. Like, it's so gorgeous, Tom's vocal, and I really love the slightly treated piano on codec, so it sounds like it's kind of underwater and off in the distance. Like, it sounds like it's far away. There's a real melancholy to it. We've talked off pod the difference between melancholy British music and angsty American music.
Mhm.
Hail to the Thief is angsty. Moonshade, no, King of Limbs, sorry, is melancholic. And then Give Up the Ghost, man, to harmonize with yourself, just you and your bandmate looping you, and a guitar it's just heartbreaking. And I've seen it live. I made you guys watch the concert film. Like,
Yeah.
you saw the size of that arena. You could have heard a pin drop the entire crowd. Or if you go online and watch the Basement Sessions version of it, where like Tom sings his heart out and afterwards just kind of goes, "I really hope that was okay," and you can see like fucking hell, like because your pitch has to be spot on because you're looping yourself. So if you get it off, if you're off,
Yeah.
whole take is fucked. So that's balls, man. And this is a man who, on record, on about hating his voice for being too pretty for so many years. At this point, embracing the beauty of his voice, even at that age. And we will talk about the vocal comparisons, I think, in the main episode. But I'm going on a bit because I love this record because it's so underrated. But yeah, King of Limbs, number 4. So I'm so pleased, Jeff, that you've put it away from the bottom. That it's in your top 3, I'm guessing. And there it is. If people who've kind of forgotten about it, go back, get some good headphones, put it on, and just listen to it, start to finish. It's great. It's beautiful.
Yes. Yes. All right. So my number 4 is The King of Limbs as well. 8th record.
good lad.
I think this is a solid record, and like you said, it's shorter, it's more concise, and to me, this is like a good use of the best of the OK Computer stuff mixed with the best of the electronic stuff. This is just a great combination of it all, and it doesn't really sway either way. It's just I don't know how to explain it. There is definitely like a melancholy feel to it, to the entire record, but I don't know. I just really enjoy this one, and I agree with you as well. The listening, like you have to listen to these records, especially like post to like Kid A and forward. You have to listen to these records on headphones. Like you're not going to get the nuance. You're not going to get all the little techniques, the production techniques, unless you
And
hear
start to finish.
yeah, exactly.
Kid A.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with you because I mean, when we get into In Rainbows, like when you take the songs out individually, they're great songs. Same with Kid A, but you really got to listen front to back. They are a front to back band, like through and through.
Yeah.
Um,
They're an album band,
Yeah,
which you don't
absolutely.
get anymore.
Absolutely, and they have been since Kid A, honestly. Or
Oh,
really,
yeah.
I would say OK Computer. Actually, I take that back. OK Computer, really. But
Yeah.
The King of Limbs. That's my number 4. So, what do you got for number 3, Jeff? Go.
King of Limbs. I mean, just gonna echo what you two just said. This was I remember when we did it the first time. I ranked King of Limbs last, and I remember distinctly Skip had said like listen to it again. Like there's a lot there because I didn't like it because you think that not every track here is something you want to hear again. Like maybe you could just shorten it to like an EP, and that's kind of like the big complaints. And I remember Skip had said like listen to it again, like calm down with it, like take your time with it, and like really focus on what's going on there. And like that said, this is an amazing album, and it starts off just like all these broken beats. The first 2 tracks are like fucking free jazz, just straight up. And like the delivery is free jazz, the broken beats are free jazz. What they're doing is just bizarre and weird, and something they don't do ever before or after. And it's, I don't know, I like it. And like also, this is the first time we the first time we get full blown like the first time we get full blown convulsing Tom in the music video, right? Like Lotus Flower, where he's like fucking, he's doing his thing, right? Like shaking his whole body. Like it's so good. And I don't know, I think the second half of this record is where it's at, but. Man,
Yes.
dude, like those first 2 tracks are just like, what are you fucking doing, dude? Straight free jazz. Bizarre. I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, good stuff. All right,
I'd buy this on the vinyls. Saying it.
Okay, so
should.
at this point, I'm not even at the vinyls, but I would give. I mean, starting with The King of Limbs for me, that's my that's where it's a 2 out of 3, rating wise.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, so what do you got for number 3, Skip?
Just one last touch on the King of Limbs because sod it, I can. It's our pod. I'm guesting. I'm taking over. Again, people who say that Radiohead take themselves too seriously and stuff. If you took yourself seriously, you would not write a lyric, "You're such a tease, I'm such a flirt." And I think that's a little by little is a great little cheeky song. Anyway, without further ado, drum roll. Number 3, it's Weezer's "Okay Human." No, it's "Okay Computer." A lot of what Jeffrey McJefferson has said, I will echo. Interestingly, most people assume this is very much a studio album, and it's not. Most 99% of it was played live in a room, which is mental and gives it even more kudos. Like a lot of those textures are again Ed getting them out of the guitar, or Tom playing the synths and the homemade stuff all by himself. It's mostly basically guitar pedals, which is why I say Ed's so kind of underrated. And the bass lines, Colin doesn't get talked about at all, and he's a really, really great bass player. Funny that you've written, he's really good. He doesn't just do octaves and fifths at all. Like he does lots of really cool kind of chord shapes.
Yeah, and he comes in. He also his playing too. Like he comes in at the perfect time. Sometimes, like he's not always playing, so he adds to the song where it needs to be added. And
he's a really good less is more player. That's why he's playing with Nick Cave at the moment, because Nick Cave's doing a really stripped back
less
thing.
Less is more, but that's fine. More is more.
Okay. More is more. Yeah. All right, Korn.
More Yngwie Malmsteen, but okay.
Dragon Force. It's really funny that I don't think it's meant to be compared to the prog giants, people like Floyd. However, the track I've singled out is Lucky, and that has such a David Gilmour guitar sound. The way it's, the bit where he's like, "Pull me out of the air," and that guitar comes up. It's such a David Gilmour Stratocaster sound. It's very Floyd. I don't mean it's prog. I mean tone and feel and the floaty feel of it. That's my pick of the week this week. It's Lucky. When I saw them, they played the first 5 tracks off of In Shape Fall, and then suddenly went into Lucky, and everyone was like, "What the flip?" So I'm used to not swearing now because I have a fucking child.
I was wondering why you said "what the flip." That was good.
Yeah, fuck it. What the fuck? Lucky, and it's like right at the end of the record to have a song of that caliber, almost as your last. No, not as your last track, because your last track's got to be Killer Man, but almost your last track. And again, it just builds and builds. And who the fuck is Sarah? Kill Me Sarah. I don't know who she is. Maybe she's like Sally Cinnamon. I don't know. That's another Britland song reference. You probably won't get it.
No, I don't get it.
Band called the Stone Roses. Don't worry about it. They're not as good as people say they are. But yeah, OK Computer. I mean, nothing Jeff said I disagree with. It changed music. It became one of the biggest selling records of that year. It's still talked about as like one of the top 10 greatest albums of all time. And if I go that far, I've ranked song albums obviously higher, but for a band to have more than one groundbreaking record is insane. And they are an album band, and that's why, and this is going to be a little bit whoa there, I think they're possibly the greatest British band since the Beatles, because the Smiths were an incredible singles band. Joy Division made some great albums but finished too soon, and more about the singles. But Radiohead are a true album band in the way that the great 70s bands were, and there isn't a band like them currently, certainly not a band of that success and pop culture level like them currently. And that is largely, not entirely, but in part due to this record, my number 3, OK Computer.
But you would say that they're better than Black Sabbath in the 70s?
One of the best British bands. Are they better than Sabbath? Can you compare them? Ooh.
No, I mean,
you've got
the impact of Sabbath was way bigger than anything Radiohead's ever done. Hands down, that's silly boy talk.
Yes, they invented a genre. No, you're right. But that's a dichotomy. That's a podcast in itself. My brain's about to fall apart. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, man. It's late here. You've ruined me. I done a lovely finish to my speech, and it's OK Computer. ... Oh, but what about Black Sabbath, dude? Thanks,
I know,
man.
that's such like you say Radiohead's good. Like, what about God? Are they better than God?
No.
That's what you just fucking said.
No,
like,
I said no.
Here, dude.
I said it because you said that Radiohead is the best British band since the Beatles. That's what Skip said. That's why I said, what about
technically? Wait. Get out clause. Sabbath formed in '69. The Beatles split in '70. I'm okay.
Get out of here. You okay? We're okay. That's
you know what
computer.
You know what he
Okay,
meant, but
computer.
you want to just put a little dig in there. Is what was happening. So that's all right.
This is cyberbullying, dude. This is live cyberbullying.
Yes.
I miss cyberbullying when you're not here. It's more fun when
It's
you're
okay.
not here.
It is more fun.
Pretend I'm not here. It's fine. Yeah. Because I can't quip back.
All right, my number 3 is "Hail to the Thief" from 2003, their 6th record. This is
a little high, but that's okay.
To me, this is the record that they wanted OK Computer to be in '97. This perfectly mixes the more guitar driven.
They wanted it to be less good.
Well, this is better than OK Computer.
It is less good for sure.
But I think they nailed it. This is truly like what I feel like they were going for with OK Computer, because they had already, because at this point they had mastered the electronic side with Kid A. So this is the perfect combination of all of that, like the best of Kid A with the best of OK Computer. That's what this record is, and I that's why I think it's fucking great. I'm gonna say something right now.
God.
Now, don't get too angry with me. Don't get too angry with me, but you can't deny the comparison, because I'm not saying one's better than the other, but on this record, there is a lot of Matt Bellamy type of singing on it, with a lot more of the falsetto and a lot more of the vibrato in his voice on this particular record. And it's not a knock to Tom York at all, maybe for you guys, because you guys are a bunch of cucks, but yeah, I really feel like maybe he didn't take direct inspiration from Matt Bellamy, but
Why the fuck would he take any inspiration from Matt Bellamy? What the fuck are you talking about?
How do you know?
Dude, no, I know. I literally.
Well, I'll
just
tell you how I know,
like 2
because
hours ago.
this record would have been recorded in 2001, 2002. Where the fuck were Muse at that point? They'd released Showbiz and Origin seemed to come out, what, 01? Yeah.
But by the time it came out,
but
this and Absolution both came out in 03. So they very well could have known. I mean, what I'm curious about, maybe you know, Skip, have Radiohead and Muse ever toured together or played a show outside of a festival?
I don't think so. I know they've never toured together. I think people overplay the comparison. I think past the first couple of Muse records, they get way more into a kind of faux prog, 70s, operatic, very Queen, over the top thing. The comparison is, I think, it's
the voice,
guitar riffs, and they're both British, and it's lazy journalism. It's like, I'm trying to think. It's a bit like the Coldplay and a comparison as well. There was a whole host of sounds like Radiohead bands, which is the reason I didn't listen to Radiohead for many years, because I hate Elbow, I hate Coldplay. I don't think Muse are great. I think they've got some good stuff. So I just miss this incredible band. It's very lazy journalism has led to this, and it's become ingrained in our culture. Are you Muse? Are you Radiohead? It's not quite as up there as Oasis, Blur, but it's very similar. Even though they're both quite middle class bands, definitely. Muse and Radiohead. I mean, I think Radiohead are the better band. I think generally that's the hard opinion by anyone who's got a brain cell. People like Muse love the Foo Fighters. Just saying that. In my experience, that comes from my friend. His two favorite bands. I love Muse and I love the Foo Fighters. And after that, it's Queens of the Stone Age.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, friend of the pod, friend of a friend of the pod, Tom.
Friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he was talking about Tyler. That's what I thought I was talking about.
I thought that was a dig at me too.
That's what I thought.
Oh, someone's defensive. Someone's defensive.
It's funny that I literally called Muse like the Foo Fighters too. I said they're a fucking hits band. They have like one cool song per record, and you throw them all together, and you have one cool record.
Yeah, that's it. You've got Muse Bellamy writing the songs. I mean, he's closer to Billy Corgan than Tom York in terms of he's very controlling. He's talked a lot of shit. He's a conspiracy nut. He's quite small and angry. But Billy Corgan's quite tall. He's tall and angry. Matt's like small and angry. Yeah. And they both trash their voices. So.
But see, okay, in Billy Corgan's defense, he could still sing like he does in the 90s. He just chooses not to do it. Because there are modern performances where he sings just
There's
like
bits where he still screams and stuff, but Matt's voice
do it. Yeah, Matt's
fire
a shot.
these days.
Fine. But, so don't compare him to Billy Corgan. Come on. Come on.
Oh, Billy wins. Don't worry.
Yeah, Billy hands
know.
down is like just an incredible songwriter.
But I would say, like in terms of like musical influence, like those big rocking riffs, Muse are closer to punk rocking, but Muse are closer to Machina than they are to OK Computer, for instance.
That's fair.
You know, origin-
no, that's fair.
Yeah. That's music facts, brah. But I'm ruining your talk on how wonderful whatever record it is you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
Hail to the Thief. I just that was pretty much it.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to bring up that Matt Bellamy comparison because I think honestly, being completely objective and not trying to piss you guys off, I think on this record he really does do that falsetto vibrato thing, on several of the songs. But
I think he's more just controlling his voice. He went off his voice for a long time, and I think at that point he's trying different things. He's trying different techniques out, and it just happened to be at the same time as Muse coming out. That's being objective.
We'll get into it during In Rainbows, but yeah, that's what it is. It's he's coming out and having, I don't know, he's getting more comfortable with himself.
He's gone, fuck it, I have one of the most objectively unique and beautiful, in my opinion, that bit subjective, voices in modern rock music. It's, you know, Tom York and Cedric for me are two like such unique, such interesting, and they're not afraid to experiment. And I've gone through phases of completely changing their vocal style as well, you know. And yeah, that's the comparison I draw. But I don't think Hail to the Thief is influenced by Muse, but I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm not shitting on you for it. I'm shitting on your liking of Muse, not on a comparison being
This
drawn.
motherfucker. I guess we'll get more into that comparison on the In Rainbows.
I'm a pretentious wanker.
But so my banger off Hail to the Thief is the Gloaming. I like that chaotic electronic beat. And then I just feel like it meshes really well with the ethereal kind of way that Tom's singing on this one. It's just a great, weird matchup that works surprisingly well. But yeah, Hail to the Thief is my number 3. And I think my number 3 last time was Amnesiac, however you pronounce it. And that one obviously this time around dropped significantly. So, Jeff, what do you got for number 2? Go.
Number 2 is the album of the week, In Rainbows. When I get to my wrap up too, I'll also reiterate this. I think In Rainbows could objectively be their best album. It's just not my favorite, and that's why it's number 2.
Okay.
Boom.
What do you got for number 2, Skip?
Literally just copy and paste what Jeffrey said. It's album of the week, and yeah, it could be in many ways objectively their best album, but it's not my best Radiohead album.
All right. So my number 2 is Kid A. No, it's not really.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally
I
kidding.
mean, I wouldn't have said anything, but I was like, I don't think so. I don't know about that.
No. My number 2 is In Rainbows. So let's gush all over Kid A. What do you got? I guess we can kind of make
Jeffrey.
this a free conversation.
A free for everybody talk at once.
Free
Go.
for all.
Yeah.
Pure
La la la
chaos.
la 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 la. Britland forever.
So what do we have on Kid A?
Jeffrey, go on, start us off.
It's all nostalgia for me. Like this is, I mean, I guess a lot of what I'm going to say goes into my origin story, right? So maybe we should just hold it until our origin stories for the main episode.
I mean, Kid A in some ways is my origin story, so I'm cool with that. Let's just all agree that it's a perfect record.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
perfect record through and through. And there is one thing I want to say about this one, a negative thing I want to say about this, because that's what I do here. So there was a quote that Tom York made, or there was a quote from Tom York. He said about this record, there was no chance of the album sounding like a more conventional album. I completely had it with melody. I just wanted rhythm. All melodies to me were pure embarrassment. And that really just screams just pretentious and obnoxious.
No, it screams I've just had a mental breakdown, which he did. He had a mental breakdown in Birmingham.
Oh, that screams Brian Wilson to me. That's what fucking Brian Wilson did when he was recording.
Tom York,
Pet Sounds, dude.
Literally walked out of soundcheck at Birmingham Arena, got onto a train, which I think is the reference in Glass Eyes, in the Moonshaped Pool is he's talking about being on a train and looking around and everyone's looking at him, because he was at that point one of the biggest singers in the world, one of the biggest rock bands in the world, and at that point they were considered a rock band, and he gets on a train and he has no idea how, you know, the train's in and out of Birmingham, and he ends up basically going in a loop and he's surrounded by Radiohead fans on this train who are obviously all coming up and, oh my God, you're Tom Muir, oh, you're going to play Creep. And he just completely loses it. You know, there's a great, there's a documentary about Radiohead on the tour, and he gets to Creep and he just holds the mic out every night. And he's like, I'm not fucking singing this for you because you're not here to listen to me. You're here to hear this song and fuck off. It's a band on the edge of breakup. You know, completely on the edge. And Tom, you know, he's just, I mean, it's like Cobain used to come out with really out there stuff, and Cobain kind of played the media much more than people think. People think, oh, he's just a sad artist. Man, it's like, no, Cobain was very savvy. I think Tom was being genuine at that point. He was just fucking done with being a rock star. He wanted to go make nerdy electronic music like he was listening to. You know, he was a massive Aphex Twin guy. And that Aphex Twin's all over Kid A. And Aphex Twin's way more out there than Kid A. And if you like Kid A and free jazz, go listen to Aphex Twin, because that guy's fucking crazy cool. But yeah, he wasn't being pretentious, man. He literally had a breakdown in my hometown.
Speaking of Aphex Twins, I feel like that's such a British group or band or artist. I don't even know if it's an actual artist or what
it's a guy.
It's just a guy.
It's one guy.
But I feel like that's so British. Like I really know outside of the name, I don't know much about him.
Is he from Scotland or something, or he's not?
No, he's English. I think he's London. I love the fact that he did his first live gig in like 15 years, and he played none of his own material
or something. Because David Bradley used to love him a lot.
Oh
yeah, just played nothing.
And wait, what'd you say?
Just did a DJ set. So he did his first like comeback gig in like 10 years, and he didn't play any of his own material. He just did like a DJ set. And just like live sampled shit. Yes. So but apparently it was amazing. It was amazing. But you know, he's just like, no, I'm making art here. I'm making music. And he's pretentious. He makes Radiohead look like fucking Oasis, man.
I mean, based off of what you just said, yeah, it sounds like somebody that would just really annoy me. But I don't know.
He's from Ireland.
But Kid A.
He's from Ireland. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Kid A is a masterpiece.
It is truly a masterpiece. It's a fantastic record, and right now it's the only record that I have on vinyl from Radiohead.
What's your biggest banger? What's your biggest banger?
Off of Kid A? Probably Idiotech or the opening track.
Good man.
Or Everything in its Right Place. Like that.
That'll be my top two as well.
That opener, I think it just every time that song comes on, the first song, it blows me away. Like, what do they think? Like, there's nothing that sounds like it. It makes you a little bit. It makes you a little bit anxious, but then you're so intrigued that you I don't know. It's weird, man. It's a weird fucking
song. That's a great point. Anxious but intrigued. I think that is spot on, mate. Yeah. Like, I love how still to this day, like, Johnny just spends the entire song of it trying to just put Tom off, like, because he'll just live sample him. I listened to that interview that I sent you guys, and he's like, I just try and put Tom off. And there are times where he gets him, and Tom will just break and start laughing, and it's really funny, because he's just done something. He's just looped something really silly, and it's just, again, like, they are having fun. They take their music seriously, and they're quite serious guys, but they enjoy what they do. They're not miserable people. They're serious people. And Kid A is a seriously good album.
It is very, very good. What's your banger off this one, Jeff?
I thought we were going to go into the origin.
Okay, then we'll go.
That's
okay,
fine, but that's okay.
No, that's fine.
You can do it now. Whatever you want to do.
No. We'll talk about it on the main episode. We're getting into In Rainbows from Radiohead. We're rounding out Britland's season by doing that with friend of the pod Skip. So go listen to that. Tell all your friends about the podcast. Share it. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio, and that's it. That's all.
That's all.
Good day.